Okay, good morning students. In this video we are going to study about transmission systems. Transmission system is the system by means of which power developed by the engine is transmitted to rod wheels to propel the vehicle. In automobile, the power developed by the engine which is used to turn the wheel. Therefore, the engine is connected to the transmission. In this figure, we can see the transmission arrangement. There are rear axles, then front axle, then engine is connected to rear axle with propeller shaft, and there is a differential, and there is gearbox for changing gear ratios, and also there is a clutch for engaging and disengaging the engine and gearbox. Then let's see about the purpose of transmission system. The first one is it enables the running engine to be connected or disconnected from the driving wheel smoothly and without shocks. It enables the reduction of engine speed, and the last one is it enables the driving wheels to driven at different speeds. Then let's see about clutch. Then what are the characteristics of a clutch? First one is transmission of torque, then second one is gradual engagement, dissipation of heat, dynamic balancing, vibration damping, size of clutch, free pedal clutch plane, non-exertive operation of disengagement. Then clutch is a mechanism used to connect or disconnect the engine from the rest of transmission elements. It is located between the engine and gearbox. Then the third one is during normal running and stationary position, it is always in engaged condition. Then the fifth one is it is always in engaged condition. Then let's see about principle of operation of friction clutch. In first figure we can see about disengaged position. The second one shows engaged position. There are two plates C and D. The shafts are called A and B. Then let's see about the types of clutch. The first one is friction clutch. The friction clutches are single plate clutch, then multi-plate clutch. Then in multi-plate clutch there are two types. First one is wet type and second one is dry type. Then there is a type of cone clutch. Then next type is centrifugal clutch, then semi-centrifugal clutch, coil pressure spring clutch, then conical spring clutch or diaphragm clutch, then tapered crown spring, then positive clutch, dog and spline clutch, then hydraulic clutch. In this figure shows about single plate clutch. It consists clutch pedal, fulcrum pin, bearing, clutch shaft, then pressure plate, clutch plate, friction lining, clutch springs. Then when we are applying force in clutch pedal, the clutch will be disengaged, then the transmission will be disengaged, and we can change the gears or we can get a temporary neutral position. Commonly used in motor vehicles such as cars, trucks and tractors. Various parts of single plate clutch are flywheel, pallet bearing, clutch plate, pressure plate, clutch cover assembly. Then it shows flywheel, clutch cover assembly, clutch disc, diaphragm spring, clutch release spring, transmission, clutch release fork. It's a 3D view of single plate clutch. This figure you can see one another pic of 3D image of single plate clutch. Then let's see about multi-plate clutch. Multi-plate clutch are used in heavy vehicles, racing cars and motorcycles for transmitting high torque. Then there are smooth and easy to operate due to their assembly of friction surface contact. This clutch are of two types, wet type and dry type. Then it shows the parts of multi-plate clutch. It consists flywheel, pressure plates, clutch pedal, fulcrum pin, bearing, spring, clutch shaft, fulcrum line, friction lining, clutch plates. Then there is a engine shaft and output shaft or clutch shaft. Then in multi-plate clutch, the wet type clutch plate are oil emits clutch. This types of head clutches are generally used to conjunction with a part of automatic transmission. The advantages are it is highly reliable, it is suitable for heavy vehicles, increased torque transmission capacity could be obtained. Then let's see about cone clutch. The cone surface of this type of clutch are in form of cone. It is called cone clutch. It consists of two cones having two leather facing. These cones are known as male and female cone. One cone is fixed to the driving member and other cone is fixed to the splined driven shaft. This figure shows about cone clutch. It consists flywheel, female cone, then male cone, friction lining, spring, gearbox shaft, then engine shaft. The conical portions are used to convert the transmission. Okay, the advantages of cone clutches are normal force acting on the contact surface is larger than the axial force, which reduces the effort required to operate the clutch. The disadvantages is if the angle is cone is smaller than 20, the male cone tends to bite or joint in the female cone. Then about centrifugal clutch. Centrifugal clutch is controlled by the engine speed through an accelerator. When the speed decreases, the clutch gets disengaged. When the speed rises above the predetermined value, the clutch is engaged. Greater is the centrifugal force due Then this figure shows the parts of centrifugal clutch. Cover plate, spider, driving shaft, friction shoe lining, driven shaft, spider, spring, shoes. Okay, let's see about semi-centrifugal clutch. In this clutch plate, the pressure between plates is increased as the speed of rotation of the clutch is proportional to the pressure requirements. As speed increases, the rotating weights will tend to move the pressure plate towards the flywheel. The ends of release levers are also moved back against the throw out bearing along with this movement of the pressure plate. This figure shows the parts of semi-centrifugal clutch. It consists pressure plate, lever, clutch shaft, flywheel, engine shaft. This figure shows diaphragm clutch. It consists flywheel, pressure plate assembly, front pivot ring, cover, diaphragm spring, pressure plate, clutch plate. And then the first figure shows engaged position and second one shows disengaged position. Then it shows positive clutch or dog clutch and spline clutch. It consists dog clutch teeth, sliding shaft, return spring, clutch, driven shaft, spring, driven member, dog, driven member, driving member. Then this figure shows hydraulic clutch. It consists clutch pedal, fluid reservoir, master cylinder, single plate clutch, clutch release fork, slave cylinder. Then it shows electromagnetic clutch, clutch shaft, engine shaft. Then in electromagnetic clutch, we are using electromagnetic force is used to engage and disengage clutch. Then let's see about gearbox. Gearbox is a speed and torque changing device. It changes speed and torque between engine and driving wheels. More power is required to keep an automobile in motion when compared to the power required for keeping it rolling after starting. And the necessity of gearbox is when the vehicle is running various resistance opposite. In order to keep vehicle moving at uniform speed, a driving force or tractive effort is equal to the sum of the opposing force. purpose of transmissions are: it helps the engine to disconnect from driving wheels, it helps the running engine to be connected to the driving wheel smoothly and without shock, it provides the leverage between engine and driving wheels to be varied, it helps driving wheels to be varied. Tractive effort, it shows tractive effort of first gear, second gear. The torque available on known as tractive effort. Gearboxes. Let's see about type of gearboxes. First, in manual transmission, sliding mesh gearbox, constant mesh gearbox, synchro mesh gearbox. Then Electromagnetic gearbox, torque converter gearbox. Sliding mesh gearbox. Sliding mesh gearbox is a transmission system with various sets of gears and shafts that are arranged together in an organized fashion, and the shifting or meshing of different gear ratios is done with the help of a gear. Need of sliding mesh transmission. Fuel consumption of an automobile increased as the load on the engine is decreased. Due to varying torque ratio provided by this gearbox, the automobile vehicle is made to go to the hill stations, which is possible earlier. The reverse of the car made possible with the introduction of this transmission system. This figure shows sliding mesh gearbox arrangements. Clutch shaft, clutch gear, second high speed gear, fast reverse gear, main shaft. Then the secondary shaft consists the arrangements of gear, and it's called latch shaft. It's the first gear ratio. This figure shows the transmission, and this figure shows the transmission of second gear. This figure shows the transmission of third gear. And it's fourth gear transmission. The applications: Alpha 12 HP used to sliding mesh gearbox with 4-speed manual transmission. Fiat 6 HP used 3-speed manual transmission. Mercedes 35 HP uses 4-speed manual transmission. Renault Voiturette used manual 3-speed transmission. In constant mesh gearbox is type of transmission in which all or most of the gears are always meshed with one another, as opposed to a sliding gear transmission in which engagement is obtained by sliding some of the gears along the shaft into mesh. In constant mesh gearbox, gear ratios are selected by the small clutches that are connect the various gear sets to their shaft, so power is transmitted through them. In this figure, it shows the arrangements of constant mesh gearbox. It shows clutch gear, clutch shaft, latch shaft, second gear, low gear, reverse gear, splined main shaft too. In this figure, we can see the all gears are engaged, and the dog clutches can move one gear to another. Then it will lock the gear and the happened. In this gearbox, there is a reverse gear also attached with these gears. It's called ideal gear. This figure shows the first gear of constant mesh gearbox, and this figure shows second gear of a constant mesh gearbox. We can see in this figure the dog clutch D2 connected with the gear 8, 4. And this figure shows the third gear transmission. In this figure we can see dog clutch D2 connected with gear 1. In this figure we can see the arrangements of reverse gear and the dog clutch D2 connected with gear 6. Then it provides the reverse transmission with the help of ideal gear. It's an image of constant mesh gearbox. It consists gear selector forks for selecting gears, and it consists also layer shaft, ideal gear, engines, and other gears too. First gear, second gear, third and fourth, 5 and reverse gear. And the output shaft go to differential by propeller shaft. Then let's see about synchronous gearbox. To simplify the operation of changing of gear without the occurrence of clashes and their consequent damage, synchronous is used to different motors. The main feature of this gearbox is the main shaft on output shaft is freely rotated on the bushes of the output shaft. Advantages are gear changing is very much simplified, less wear in gear. It allows the usage of helical gear that directly. Disadvantage is the design is very much complex. Automatic gearbox. Various speed are obtained automatically in gearboxes are known as automatic gearbox. Generally, the driver selects car condition such as neutral, forward, or reverse. Such gearbox are two types: automatic transmission or converter transmission. Thank you for watching my classes. Thank you.